Beneath a sky heavy with storm clouds, where the sea roared with restless energy, Zara stood alone on a rocky shore. The coastal path before her stretched like a scar on the earth, a jagged line of cliffs and crashing waves that promised both danger and discovery. This was not a leisurely walk, but a pilgrimage. A journey of reckoning, a quest to confront the shadows of her past. Zara was not a mountain climber like Anya, nor a desert crosser like Vikram. Her wilderness was internal, a storm of guilt and regret. Years ago, as a fearless journalist, she had exposed a truth that tore through her close-knit community. What she thought would bring justice instead brought devastation. Her name became a whisper of betrayal. Friends turned cold, family fell silent. People told her to seek forgiveness, to explain herself. But Zara knew the real redemption wasn't in others' eyes, it was within. She had heard of the path of tides, a trail known not for its beauty but for its brutality. Wind-battered cliffs, slippery stones, ancient lighthouses, and the ever-roaring sea. They said it tested the soul, and those who walked it alone returned changed, or didn't return at all. Zara packed lightly. A notebook, a pen, a few supplies, and a locket from her grandmother, a quiet, resilient woman who had taught her that strength often looked like silence and survival. The locket was her anchor. Her mantra as she began: solitude, courage, determination, self-reliance. Day 1. The wind and the words. The first day greeted her with howling winds and sheets of salt spray. The trail was soaked and slippery, lined with seaweed and stones sharp as memory. Each step seemed to ask, "Are you sure you're ready for this?" The sea echoed her doubts. Midway, soaked and shivering, she paused on a ledge. The weight of guilt sat heavy on her chest, like the storm pressing down on her shoulders. Clutching the locket, she remembered her grandmother's words. "The truth you carry is your strength, even if it leaves you alone." Reignited by those words, Zara climbed up to an abandoned lighthouse, its silhouette looming like a ghost. Inside, among cracked glass and rusted metal, she opened her notebook and wrote. Not an apology, but an entry about who she was, who she could be. Writing was no longer her weapon, but her shield. The storm outside raged on, but within her, something began to settle. Day 2. The edge of fear. The second day challenged her balance, literally. A narrow cliffside path snaked ahead, inches from a drop into the violent surf. One misstep could mean death. Her heart pounded as she edged along, one foot carefully placed in front of the other. At one point, her foot slipped, skimming the edge. Her breath caught, time froze, but instinct, sharpened by resolve, kicked in. She didn't fall, she found her footing and moved on. Every muscle trembled, not just from fear, but from the knowledge that she could survive her fear. The sea, with its crashing rhythm, wasn't an enemy. It was a teacher. Its lesson: you are not your mistakes, you are how you rise after them. That night, she found shelter beneath a rocky overhang. She lit a small fire and huddled close, warming her fingers before writing again. This time, the words came faster, stronger. The woman writing them was not broken, just weathered, hardened, awake. Day 3. The mirror of stillness. On the third morning, the wind had calmed. The trail opened to a cove, quiet, serene, almost sacred. The water here was still, reflecting the sky and her face with a clarity that startled her. She knelt by the edge and stared at her reflection. It was not the face of a traitor, but of a woman who had walked through storms, inside and out, and found something worth keeping: herself. She did not cry, she smiled. This was the moment, not a finish line, but a transformation. The guilt had not vanished, it had been understood. It had shaped her, it had taught her that truth, no matter how painful, is better than silence. That walking alone doesn't mean you're lost, it means you're strong enough to lead. She took out the notebook and wrote her final entry on the trail. Greater than, to anyone who walks in silence, feeling like your truth has burned bridges, know this: the road back to yourself is the hardest trail. But if you walk it, every step will matter. Even the lonely ones, especially the lonely ones. The return. A new voice. As Zara began her return journey, the storm clouds parted. The sun broke through in gold, casting light across the sea like a path made just for her. Her backpack felt lighter, Her steps, stronger. She imagined standing before a crowd, other wanderers, survivors, seekers, and sharing these words. Greater than, your path is yours alone, but that's where your power lies. The storms, guilt, fear, regret, they're not your end. They are your beginning. Walk alone, not because you're abandoned, but because you're enough. Let your heart guide you, your courage shield you, and your purpose lead you. The tide may rise, but so will you. By the time she reached the trail's end, the sea was calm. The horizon stretched infinite. She stood tall, not just as Zara the journalist, or Zara the outcast, but Zara the storyteller. A woman who walked into the storm and rode her way out. The path of tides had not just tested her, it had revealed her. She smiled one last time at the waves, then walked away, notebook full, heart open, destiny waiting.